Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm from Dynamic Boards, and we advertise paid non-executive board vacancies across the UK. And one of those is a role that's just gone live today with B3Living. They're looking for 2 new board members. And today I'm chatting to Claire Howe. Claire is Executive Director of Corporate Services at B3Living. She's also their company secretary, so she's party to all the board meetings and can give us a good sense of what they're about. So hi, Claire. Do you want Hello. Do you want to kick us off with a little bit about what B3Living does?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're a social landlord. So we're a housing association. So we provide social housing for people who are referred to us from the council's waiting list. And we manage about 5,000 properties, and we're mostly in Broxbourne in Hertfordshire, but we do extend to some of the other areas as well. So we've got a real mix of housing. We've got general needs housing, and we have shared ownership housing that we sell to people as well. And we've been going about 15 years now, so not too young, not too old.
Claire, can you give us a sense of how the scale of B3Living, how large is it?
So as I say, we've got 5,000 properties that we manage. I would say we're probably a small to medium housing association. We've got 170 staff, yeah, we support about 9,000 people across Broxbourne and Hertfordshire.
And the role itself, can you tell us a bit more about the board and what these 2 roles are?
So we've got 9 board members at the moment, it's a really great board actually. We've got a real mix of different skills. We've got a new chair who started in January, who was a board member before then, and he's got he actually had a previous career at Network Rail, so you can see there's from all different sectors, as well as people who work within housing already. And so we've recently launched our new strategy for the next 3 years, so it's a good time to join us. We meet 7 times a year, but we have a number of subcommittees as well. So normally board members would sit on the main group board and then be part of 1 or 2 of the subcommittees as well. So you get to experience a range of different activities within the group.
Great. And would these new board members be part of any of those subcommittees?
Yeah, so what we're looking for actually is we need somebody for the remuneration committee and somebody for the audit and risk committee. So we are looking for people to place on those as well. What I would say is that you don't necessarily need to have the experience to sit on either of those committees. We can support people in training up to learn about those committees and what you're expected to do. The remuneration committee meets once or twice a year and generally looks at what the salary increase should be actually, and they review any changes to terms and conditions or to our benefits package. So any people type issue, but mostly any annual pay award that we're looking at, both for the board and for the staff.
Yeah, so does that mean that people who've got experience in human resources would be useful in that kind of role?
Yes, they would be, but I would still say that even if you haven't, don't let that put you off, because we have a chair of the remuneration committee who's excellent, has a lot of experience actually. But if you do have a HR background, obviously that would come into play as well. You'd be able to contribute there.
Yeah, and then on the audit and risk committee, what sort of skills are useful for that committee?
Well, once again, I would say that we do have people who don't necessarily have that background.
Yeah.
But what you'll be doing is looking at the internal audit programme. So the reports will come through after the internal auditors have looked at different areas of the business. And also they take a really close look at our risks. And anything like the accounts goes through the audit and risk committee before it goes to the main board. So that kind of attention to detail, financial awareness, any audit or risk experience is especially useful. But I would say again,
not required.
Yeah, exactly.
That's brilliant.
I guess it's just whether you would find that interesting or not.
Yeah, that's helpful. And I know lots of boards do skills matrices and try and work out sort of where the gaps are and what skills they don't have. When you've done that recently, what are the areas that you feel would be particularly useful for these 2 new board members?
Yeah, so we do that every year actually, and we did it in January. And there were 2 areas that looked a little bit weaker, which were health and safety and general business and commercial management. So we have put that in the recruitment pack. However, I think our board is really strong anyway, so it's not a given that you have to have those skills, and we're really open to people from other backgrounds as well. So we have advertised for that. That would be an added benefit, but we're looking for the right person for the board. So as I say, our board's great. We have a real mix of skills already, so we're in a strong position, fortunately.
That's great. It's a great start when you're recruiting, isn't it? So when you look at the mix, when you think more of the diversity characteristics, we often use the word mix to try and move away from just some aspects of diversity and consider it holistically. What do you feel like the mix is like on the board at the moment, and are there any particular areas that you're looking to recruit in?
Yes, that's a great question, actually, because it's something we've been mindful of a lot, and we've really tried to improve the diversity on our board. Really just have people from a range of experiences and backgrounds, and also it's about if you always recruit the same people, you always get the same decisions. So we want to make sure we've got that the right challenge and the right different experiences coming through. So I would say we're really strong on the gender mix, and also we've been successful in recruiting a range of ages as well. However, we really do want to improve the diversity from people from Black and minority ethnic backgrounds. So we are really encouraging people to apply from those backgrounds, also those that might be living with a disability or from the LGBT plus community. So those are areas where we haven't been successful in improving our diversity, and we're looking to make that better, really.
Great. And Claire, I just want to ask, particularly when we're talking about the Black and minority ethnic community, what's the reason for looking to improve that representation on the board?
I think the key thing is that the board is not representative of our community. So, of all of our staff, actually. So our staff will look at our board and think, how am I represented there? And they're not. So we're really trying to put that right. But I think it is also about that having that diversity of decision making. Yeah. But if you've got a range of people around the board, you're less likely to miss something, and people can speak from different experience levels and different backgrounds to make sure that the strength of decision making is that much stronger. Claire,
that's absolutely brilliant. We've talked to lots of organisations, and I think actually the ability to reflect on the mix that you've got right now and say, actually, we don't represent yet and we want to change that is really strong. So I think B3 Living in a great place for having had those conversations and made a proactive decision to chat to us and to move forward. So
yes, that's great. And I would really say, if you're looking at the pack and you will see that we're not diverse, we've got pictures of our current staff board and exec. Please don't let that put you off, because we really need you to help us to kind of change that. So yeah, absolutely. And I'm also open to any conversations about that if people want to contact me directly. So
brilliant, thank you, Claire. And just touching on when the board meetings are, like the real practicalities. I know 3 p.m. on a Tuesday was mentioned in the board pack.
Yes.
And it's quite helpful for people to get a sense of how this would fit into their other work, their other commitments or caring responsibilities. Can you give us a sense of how that works?
Yeah, so we start at 3. We tend to go, we try and be done by 6. There's 7 of those a year, although one of them is an overnight stay, just because we feel it's quite helpful to have that kind of time to relax and get to know each other as people as well as fellow board members. And the away days we use for our strategy discussions. But generally they tend to be at 3 o'clock on a Tuesday, and the committee meetings are at a similar time as well. But we agree the schedules way in advance, and you'll see that in the board pack actually, so hopefully that will help.
When anyone's looking at this role, if they haven't got experience in the housing sector and haven't been on a board before, what would be your message for them?
I would say don't rule yourself out. So we do have people on the board who are not from housing. We can help you to learn it. And also, if you haven't got an ED experience, you haven't been on a board before, please don't let that put you off applying, because I think you have to start somewhere, and actually it's really important that you do get your first role. So just really look at the pack and think about what transferable skills have you got, how might you meet those, and we've been really clear to say in the pack that we are open to people with no previous board experience. So go for it, really.
That's brilliant. And Claire, one last one. When you look at the board members that you've got to know, as you've been company secretary, what are some of sort of attributes that you've seen, or any little anecdotal examples of fantastic contributions from the non-executive board members?
So I would say it's a real skill about staying at the strategic level, because it's very easy to want to dive in and get involved, especially if you're used to working on an operational level and that's your job, you know. So really stay at the strategic level, because it's really important to keep a handle on the bigger picture. And I think it's about learning how to challenge in the right way. And it's really important that you do challenge. So make sure you do, but actually just doing it in the right way and at the right level. Yeah, that's what I would say. But I also think it's important to remember that the board is a team, so it's really important to foster that team culture. Yeah. Yeah, so I think coming in with that approach is also helpful.
It sounds like you've got a really experienced board, and I think that's really helpful, particularly if you've got someone who's coming in who doesn't have board experience. So if they're not done of it perfect straight away, then they've got good people to learn from as well. Yeah,
yeah. And in the past, we've linked people up with existing board members as a mentor, so that's something we can also look at. So
that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Claire, this has been lovely to speak to you. It sounds like a great opportunity, and I hope that anyone watching this does feel encouraged to apply. And Claire has said that she's given her email address in this advert, so she's happy for you to drop her a line and arrange a time to chat with her about the role. And lastly, just to say, if you are interested, do click on the link, have a look at the role on Dynamic Boards. Please do read through that candidate pack. There's lots of good information in there, and then go for it and apply.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, page 16, how to apply. There's some really clear instructions there. So make sure you read that, and then I look forward to hearing from you.
Brilliant. And if you are applying, good luck. Bye.
Absolutely. Thank you. Bye.